growing up, I spent a lot of time here. My parents still live down the road from the center. And I just remember growing up, coming to the community center and having heritage circles. And it would be a day where we would learn about our ancestors, where they came from, the hardships that they had to endure. So my ancestors arrived here after the War of 1812. They were Black refugees. And when they got here, they were promised land. But unfortunately, when they got here, it wasn't what they had expected. You couldn't do anything with the land. You couldn't use it for agricultural purposes. In addition to that, the community is far outside of the city. So a lot of the time what would happen is they would have to go back into indentured servitude. They would essentially be back into slavery because they had to feed their families and they had to take care of themselves. So this is a lot of what we knew growing up. We knew that there were people who sacrificed so that we could have the opportunities that we have. And I think that is always what I carry with me. Anytime I walk into a room, I know it's not just me, it's the 10,000 people that came before me, and that's what gives me that resilience and that drive to also want to make a difference, because why would I take their sacrifices for granted?
You're doing a lot of different things in terms of women's leadership and leading younger generation. How do you carry that message today to younger generations?
So 2 years ago now, I started a girls leadership program here at the community center, and there's about 10 to 12 girls in the program, and I just give them the space to be themselves. It's funny because when I thought about starting this program, I really felt like I had something to teach them. Like, I'm gonna go in, and these girls really, because of maybe the community that they grow up in or the people that they're around, they must not see themselves as leaders. So if only I could start this program, I can instill these messages in them and empower them. But I was wrong. So the first day of the program, I simply asked them, what are the problems that you see in your community or in your schools? And they went on for an hour, because they already knew and they already had solutions.
Like, how did you kind of come to that thought process of what you've just described? As people are already whole, they have the tools. We just have to sometimes provide folks with space. Like, how did you kind of come to that thinking?
It was the girls. I can remember after that first class, and I completely had to rethink my approach to working with them, and I just made them come up with this long list of ideas of what they wanted to do throughout the program. It was everything from a spa day to starting a business, you name it, they had it on their list. And at the end of the program, one of the girls looked at me and she said, "Miss Ariel," because that's what they call me, "I love that when I have an idea and I just say it out loud or write it down, I can make it happen." And I said, that is exactly what I want you to learn.
Right. As I'm listening to you speak, I'm hearing a constant theme of servant leadership. And I'm wondering where you learned that from.
There's a bit of a blessing in growing up in an African Nova Scotian community and knowing your history and heritage. I think we learn very early on that service to community is important, because we know that our ancestors did it. They made those sacrifices. And then you grow up in the church or you grow up at the community center, and that's all about service and serving others.
There is this trend to romanticize Black pain and Black trauma. And it's really easy to get stuck in that. How do you approach encouraging them towards action and not romanticizing this pain any longer and giving it that power?
It's a very fine line, but I think coming at anything with empathy, number one, is most important. So when you can empathize and you understand and you see their point of view and how they may feel the way that they do, that helps to open the conversation. But then I always frame it as, if we don't move on some of the issues, it doesn't benefit anyone in our community. Yes, we want to frame it as a Black issue and Black pain, which is very valid. But when our communities aren't thriving, the rest of the province isn't thriving, then the rest of the country isn't thriving, and the rest of the world isn't thriving. So we need to get out of this romanticizing that type of pain, and then internalize that and say, okay, this is my problem, and this is my community's problem, this is the world's problem, what can we do about it?
There's so much hate and so much things going on in the world. And, you know, here you are in your community still standing resilient and doing, you know, some great things and trying to bringing up the young generation of young women.
I always remember my mom saying, even from a young age, Ariel, you knew that there was more to the world than what you were seeing in front of you. And so innately, there was always just something that has always pushed me to want to lead or to give back. But I think my greatest fear is living a life of insignificance. And I think that is because I know the sacrifices that so many people have made to give me all of these opportunities. So how dare I not give back in some way or not live the biggest, fullest life that I can and make sure that so many other people after me can do the same.
You know, we want to also show what Lead with Love means. And so we have a token of appreciation and also a testament to you and to your work and to your girls program and your community. So we want to give you a little something. So,
thank you so much. Oh my goodness, thank you.
$1,000 to go towards yourself and your community initiatives and the programs that you're doing. The concept, Lead with Love, your work, and you embody that completely.
Thank you. This will mean a lot to the girls. Yeah, and it will go a long way. Thank you.